Hello, everybody out there. Welcome to another great episode of the Gridiron Glory podcast here with Tad and Will, bringing you some week 8 action in the 8th week of our season here. And today we're going to talk about the 49ers and the Cowboys. This game took place on Sunday Night Football. The 49ers ended up winning this game 30-24. And, let's get into it. And really, it was a bit of a close game, in the first half of things. You know, um, Obviously, the Cowboys kind of kept it close going into halftime, but then, you know, going late into the fourth quarter or so, the 49ers were able to, really break away, really make some flashy plays, really make some flashy moves. And I believe it starts at the helm in the center of none other than Brock Purdy, Tad's favorite player, everybody, and you guys ought to know that Tad is a bigger fan of Brock Purdy than I ever will be. I mean, he hates him so much. Tad's hate for Brock Purdy just goes way beyond my love for him. So in that way, it's more of a love-hate relationship that he has with Mr. Brock Purdy. But 18 of 26, 260 yards, a touchdown, no picks. Big shout out to the offensive line, only giving up just 2 sacks there against a very stingy Cowboys defense, who is banged up right now. And we'll get more into that. You also, talking about Brock Purdy a little bit more, he did have the passing touchdown, but Tad, in the moment that Brock Purdy walked it into the end zone himself, made the lead an astounding lead, and the 49ers were in a group picture together. Brock Purdy walks into the end zone. It's a hyped up moment. The crowd's going crazy. They're all, thinking what a great player Brock Purdy is. And you think about this offense and you think about this team and you're just like, man, this team would not be this good if it wasn't for that guy, number 13. And yeah, that's a serious take.
I mean, he is what he is. He's a game manager type player. He's a glue player who's executed his role fairly well, aside from the 3 interception game last week. He had a good performance today, a nice bounce back. And he did what he had to do. He got the touchdown pass. He got the touchdown run that you referenced. He's been executing. I mean, he's doing what he can. He gets San Francisco back up to 4-4, so they're a 500 team, a fairly average football team, but and they have high expectations. This is a team coming off the NFC Championship. They were in the Super Bowl last year, where they lost to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, as most of us saw. And they have high expectations to be there again and to rebound from the slow start, and they get the win. So they needed the win. A very strong team performance. Purdy did his part. The rookie running back Isaac Guerrero had a big game, 14, 85 and a touchdown.
Yeah, Tad. I'm glad you brought up Isaac Guerrero, and I'm really glad that you brought him up because I personally thought, yes, you were mentioning before, and I don't mean to interject in this way.
Go for it.
And at the same time, you did mention that, we've talked about this off air. But, Isaac Guerrero, he was able to make some really big explosive plays. You certainly were impressed by his running abilities, his grit, his grind, his resilience. And, Tad, with that being said, I would really genuinely and sincerely really like to ask you, where would you rank Isaac Guerrero amongst rookies overall in the NFL?
Overall amongst rookies, that's interesting. That's like factoring in.
We'll say offensive rookies.
Offensive rookies. I mean, he hasn't had a big chance to get a large number of carries, so it's really hard to say that he's like top 10. But
he's a middle of the pack rookie.
I feel like he's a guy that could get execution and that would get if he had a bigger opportunity, he could get more acclimated into the offense. But with that being said, he's filled his role well with Mason being up and down. Obviously, McCaffrey hasn't played a single snap all season, unfortunately, so he's executed his role well.
Do you believe that if McCaffrey was playing Tad, that the 49ers would be better than 4-4?
Yeah, I think that's fairly obvious. I think he's obviously he's the offense's best player. He's the offense goes through him, but they've done a decent enough job of making it up without him. I mean, when Mason's healthy, he's done decent. Though he's no McCaffrey, obviously. He's no Christian McCaffrey, but he's executed fine, and they have plenty of other guys that can fill in. But missing out on McCaffrey, that's a big loss. And when he comes back, you gotta imagine this team, they're gonna be better.
And then George Kittle also caught a touchdown. I know you're happy about that. I mean, though it was every touchdown that George Kittle catches, I just want you to remember the quarterback that throws it to him. Always remember that.
Yep. Kind of how football works. Yeah, the quarterback throws it, the receiver catches it. I'm glad we're getting
the quarterback's college that he went to.
Yeah, I'm glad we're getting a good understanding of basic football out there. The quarterback, Brock Purdy from Iowa State, makes the throw. The receiver, in this case George Kittle, the tight end from Iowa, makes the catch. Yep, we're getting some basic football concepts down, so that's how it works on a basic level.
Unless you're an Iowa fan, then it makes it complex. Anyways, Fred Warner, again, he goes out there, 8 total tackles, 4 solo, had a tackle for loss, and had a hit on the quarterback. Fred Warner continues, game in and game out to be the consistent leader on that side of the football.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you also got guys like Nick Bosa. I think Nick Bosa, I mean, we haven't really touched much on him at all, even in the preseason. And we talked him and hyped him up pretty well in the preseason, but throughout this season, so far in the season, you got 19 total tackles, 4.5 sacks, a forced fumble, and you even got an interception there. I mean, for a defensive end, that's pretty legit. Obviously, we're aware of Joey Bosa and everything. So I just believe that Nick Bosa is an extreme part of this defense.
Yeah, a very strong defense, a very loaded defense. Bosa's obviously a part of that. You got Demondre Lenore and Jair Brown both coming away with interceptions in this football game. So just a fairly solid defensive performance. Dallas, they tried to make a comeback late and got some points towards the end when the score wasn't all that close. But overall, a very strong defensive performance, I thought, from San Francisco.
Yeah. I mean, so a really strong performance there. Touching on the Cowboys really quick. Dak Prescott, 2 interceptions. It's you can't really have that. The offensive line did a pretty good job of holding him up. Ezekiel Elliott with the rushing touchdown. CeeDee Lamb, time in and time out, proves again to be a go-to guy for Dak. And I mean, the Cowboys are now 3-4. And, you look at this and everything, and it's just okay, the struggles continue.
Yeah, the struggles continue. I mean, what can you expect with the Cowboys playing against a supposedly quality team on prime time? I mean, it's the same result time in, time out, a road game even. I mean, the Cowboys, they are who we thought they were. They're a football team that they've just never shown that they can rise to the occasion. And when the going is against them, they can't beat teams that are either at their level or above their level, especially above their level. And I mean, until we see differently, I mean, I just have a hard time trusting the Cowboys to win games like this.
Yeah, I mean, I do too. I mean, it's the same script, same story. It's the same just drama. It's the same culture.
Yeah.
They talk so much about wanting to be this great team. They talk so much about how they can be this great team. Jerry Jones is, their number one fan, everything, right? You know, he talks so much about just how great he thinks the team can be, and yet season after season, it's just the same old thing. And you probably make the playoffs, but then you probably lose in the first or second round, and it's just like, you know, I don't know if it speaks to more of how difficult it is to do in the NFL versus just like the Cowboys just can't figure out how to do it.
Yeah, a lot of it's just like the Cowboys. I mean, I think it's really a culture thing, like you were saying earlier. I think that they just have a culture that they don't step up and they don't make the plays you have to make to win difficult games like this. And until we see a tangible change, it's hard to believe that it's going to change. So just got to wait it out and see if something's going to change.
Yeah, it's just an unfortunate thing if you're a Cowboys fan, you know, having to deal with this. You know, I mean, you can really, you know, I mean, I even have a few in my family and everything, and so like it's just, you know, you hear about it, you know, from multiple different perspectives. They're a popular
Mhm.
team, right? And it's just like they're sick and tired of seeing all this. You know, they're sick and tired of it feels like it's starting to feel like wasted energy and wasted time if you're a devoted Cowboys fan.
Yeah, certainly feels that way for Dallas, a team that's had their up and downs, and this year they're just like you said, they're 3 and 4. If it kind of feels
Oh,
like they're at a crossroads.
well, and Tad, let me put it into the perspective of Cowboys fans for just a quick moment, really touching on this. It's like, okay, you know, like obviously with, you know, say your Minnesota Vikings, you know, that's a whole different thing because like you're just hoping that they get one already, by damn it. But when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys and their franchise and their fans, I mean, they, you know, set a bar and set an example for what that franchise can be and what they were able to accomplish and compete and contend for, you know, especially back in the Troy Aikman days and the 90s and everything like that. So like a lot of Cowboys fans today lived through that. They saw that. And you know, so now it's just like there's this like expectation of, you know, okay, you've built teams since then. You know, if I'm empathizing with the old timer Cowboys fans, it's like, okay, you built many teams since then that have had that potential to get there, but especially with the Dak Prescott era, it's not even the Tony Romo era was a whole different thing. But now that since the Dak Prescott era, it's a really frustrating thing, Tab, because you felt like Dak was a guy and this was a system that could work. You get guys like CeeDee Lamb, you obviously Ezekiel Elliott's back, and now Dalvin Cook's there. You know what I mean? Like this it's felt like a thing where it's just like, man, you can be that kind of a team that can really get to the Super Bowl. But yet, just time and time again, it's just big moments, big
Yeah,
time moments where you need to rise up, big time playoff moments where you need to rise up. And it's just like, it's just, if I'm empathizing with those long timer Cowboys fans, it's a frustrating thing for them. I mean, I understand.
for sure. Definitely, it feels like they've left a lot of meat on the bone in this era. I mean, they've had a lot of playoff games that you think they could have won, and they just didn't for whatever reason. Just because some games the defense just doesn't show up, some games it's the offense leaving plays out there. I mean, just very similar script.
Yep. Yep. There you have it. So, I mean, obviously, you know, you hope with Dallas that the injuries can get resolved soon because that is another big thing too, is the injuries, and you're pretty
Yeah,
banged up on that defensive side of
that's
the
a
ball.
factor for
That is
sure.
another factor. So, Cowboys fans, you certainly hope that your team can get healed up sooner than later. So,
Yeah.
there
And
you
you're
have
gonna
it.
need it. And you're gonna need it because next week you got a tough game against the Atlanta Falcons on the road. That's not gonna be an easy game in any right. So you definitely want to get healthy. And meanwhile, for San Francisco, they have the week off. They have a bye week this week, so that's what we
This
have.
was a good win for them going into their bye
It
week. You
was
know, a good win. You know, you take a solid win like this, you take it into your bye week, and you're just like, okay, you know, wow, like what can we build off of this? How do we get to 5-4, 6-4 now? So
right.
that's what they're going to be looking to do. So, or you know, the bye week is such a trap thing in football, right?
Mm.
Like it's just like you're either going to come off of it really hot or really cold. I feel like that's crazy, but anyways, thank you. Did you have any final thoughts or takes?
That was everything I had.
Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow on the Gridiron Glory podcast. This is Tad and Will bringing you all exclusive coverage of all 32 teams.